How you doing, Mr. Professor Bell? This is my presentation on the Meyers Briggs test results. Um, I'm Fred Billy, and let's get started. So, one quick side note: I've tried multiple times to enable my camera. My camera right now is enabled, so it's on, but I cannot get any picture going. Just want to let you know that before we get started. Um, Funny thing about the Myers Briggs test is that I used it when I was working with at risk youth and back at home. So this is not new to me. I really like this test because I think when I was doing it with the kids, they really liked it a lot and it really matched a lot of their personality traits. Um, so for me, I was a logistician, logistician. Um, for here, he was kind of the personal traits. I think this is very accurate for me, right? I'm kind of an introvert. I do agree with that because when it comes to new people, I kind of get straight away a little bit. And I'm kind of shy. But when it comes to my friends, I'm very open. I'm very outgoing. Love to laugh and just have fun with those guys. But just like to go in to a new setting. One of the hardest settings for me so far is when I went to the AFCA coaches convention and try to rub some elbows and meet new people. It's kind of hard for me to get out there and do it. I just had to like face my fears and do it. Once I've done it and talked a couple times and have held those conversations, pretty easy to have those conversations and make new friends and things like that. More, I would say I'm more observant than intuitive in my eyes. I like to sit back and just watch and observe everything that's going around me so that I know from the information that I've gathered how to approach some situations, regardless of what the situation is, friend, family, anything like that, work. So I like to observe and see how other people react to certain situations, right? So I know how to approach that person when it's my time to interact with them. If that makes sense. Um, I would agree with the thinking piece part. I would say I lean more to thinking a little bit more than feelings. 'Cause I feel like what I've learned as a young black male is that I cannot lead with my emotions. And I have to be thorough with my decision making. Critical thinking is a big, big thing for me, and I like to sit back and really thoroughly think out things before I do anything. Um, I would say this is pretty accurate prospecting. I would lean probably more there too because I think uh, biblically, man, I'm not anybody to judge. Right, I have my own shortcomings. I have my own shortfalls when it comes to that. So I don't really judge anybody. You are who you are, right? I just kind of make my decisions off of that. You know, um, I am assertive, right? I like to, if I feel like I have something to offer or have something to give, I will let that be known. I don't step on any toes, so to speak, but if there's something that I feel like I can give, I will let it be known in a sense. So I do agree with that. So this the first slide. This concerns the personal personality traits for workplace. It's kind of strengths and weaknesses. Um, Creative solutions. Yes, I do. In this field, you have to be creative, right? Especially on the defensive side of the ball. And creating ways to stop the defense, things like to stop the offense, things like that. And being an analytical thinking person is pretty true. I think I do have that, uh, and I do always want to find ways to get better, right? And I do like being by myself, right? Um, Meeting deadlines, yes, I've had that since I was a kid, right? And I think that does hinder me a little bit. The one thing I do not agree with when it says weakness is difficulty explaining ideas. I cannot have that in my profession because if I can't really explain myself, I'm not really a good coach. Because being a coach is like being a professional or a teacher, right? I have to get my point across. I have to get the idea across that we have as a defensive staff so that our players can perform at the highest level, right? I do kind of get lost in theories a little bit when I talk about certain things, and I think that's pretty cool. Also, there's only really one thing I don't agree with, which is the difficulty explaining ideas. I am a quick learner. I do believe that, like, it takes me no time to really pick something up because me personally, I love to know what's going on. Like, I hate being in the dark when it comes to that and connecting ideas, right? I think I believe in that too, right? Um, and putting ways to bring an outside world into what my profession is or anything like that, or even if I'm trying to explain something, right? Because we have this thing where we try to make things relate to each other. So I love doing that when I'm talking to the guys. Seeking truth, I do. I love to have just the truth be told and things like that. There's really nothing that I disagree with, even with the weaknesses. Kind of with the overthinking decisions. I do feel like I don't overthink decisions that much. I feel like I kind of whatever happens happens. I do procrastinate. I do have social discomfort, and I emotionally distance myself sometimes if I feel some type of way. I really do that. So this is kind of only one thing I really don't just agree with. Again, like the previous slide. Here, another thing I do love deep conversations, right, where we're thinking and and it's right, really food for thought type of conversations, right? And I love honest conversations, right, because that is the best way to be, right? Is honest, even though if I don't want to hear it, I don't have a conversation with somebody, but it is something that I need to hear, right? Um, I am a patient listener. I feel like everybody needs to be heard. Everybody needs to be heard, and um their perspective needs to be respected, right? So I am a patient listener. Um, I do like being alone. I do overanalyze some things, and I do avoid conflict. Probably mostly reserved. I don't try to create distance. I don't think I do that too much, but I do avoid conflict. I don't like conflict. I don't even like conflict, like any type of conflict where you know putting people in bad situations, so to speak. That's pretty much the end. Again, Professor Bill, I am sorry about the picture. I tried everything, called whoever, right? Couldn't get it done. But me personally, I feel like this was a really good exercise. I think it did depict me very accurately in some sorts. A couple things I do disagree with, but when it comes to how this is kind of how I feel. That's it, kind of how I feel when it comes to my profession. And I think learning some of that stuff, if I need to meet more deadlines to be a better coach, so I can have more time to expand and or connect with players, and that's such things such as that. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Um, and good night.